Welcome to Zeta Protocol, the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's 62% more reverent than a Jedi Council meeting, 28% more chaotic than an Ewok strategy summit, and statistically overdue for a midlife crisis. I'm Egnards, joined by Pico, the harbinger of controlled pandemonium burrito, and tonight, the galaxy refuses to stay still. 7 new arrivals crash the holotables like a poorly timed disaster movie. Spider-Mall's climbing walls he shouldn't, Stormtrooper Luke's finally found a shot worth missing, and Chewbacca and Yoda have gone full naked gun. But beneath the spectacle, the 10th anniversary drums still echo. A decade of metas, meltdowns, and 5A mods that will definitely roll speed a single time. The new era versus legacy system redraws the lines of history, and a mysterious Coliseum rises from the dust, promising glory, confusion, and probably at least 6 new currencies. 10 years in, and somehow the galaxy's still expanding faster than the dev notes can keep up. So lock your loadouts, clear your cache, and hit play before the episode gets moved to the Legacy tab. You know, every time I do that intro, I'm always concerned as I'm looking at the camera. I'm like, did I hit record? Did I hit record? Did I hit record? And I am so happy to say that tonight I did indeed hit record because there was no way I was getting through that a second time. Pico, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I am pissed at you. I am just
Oh,
pissed. I
oh,
I
good.
cannot I cannot even begin to explain how you have ruined my day
Join the
because
club.
you sent me the bumper image for the show tonight, and now I have been stuck singing 99 Luft balloons in German in my head all day today.
I
Just
am glad.
like I mean, it's a, I finish a thought and I just hear boom, 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 boom. Like, and it's like, oh, stop it, just stop it. I will be staring at the ceiling tonight, just stuck in my head, not sleeping. So, thank you for that.
I'm gonna try to do that more often then and see. And this was an easy one, but I what generally happens. So the thought process behind the naming of the episodes is usually I wait until after we've talked,
Yeah,
especially if we don't know exactly what the conversation is going to be, and I'll send Moonborn the notes that night. And hey, this is what I think the episode title should be, and I get a surprise in the morning with this cool cue card. But lately, I've been doing it the night before just because I have like a better idea of what we're going to be saying and what we're going to be talking about, just based on experience talking to you and CG getting better at communicating. So my day is literally just running through movie references, song references, TV references, and trying to get one that fits what I'm going for. So while your morning was just that one song over and over again, my morning was every piece of pop culture. It was like Wreck-It Ralph just
yeah.
breaks the internet all over the place. I could not concentrate at work, and that's what happens every other week for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. We got some stuff in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my God. There's and it, they're they're changing how they do everything, and it frustrates like when you get into a pattern and a habit and you understand things, and then they just throw it all away and you go, okay, now I have to relearn everything. Now I have to do things a different way.
And we'll talk about the game differences, but this whole new 7 kits and Bodhi has been messaging me for the past week about how excited he is. Basically, I think he expects us to Bruce Springsteen this and go for 4 straight hours on some of these things. But like even the kit reads that were in there, they changed the format up. So like I can't skim them the way that I want to skim them.
Yeah.
And it's I'm too old to learn new tricks. That's just the way that it needs to work.
Yeah, I was expecting we wouldn't talk about this until a little bit later. You're just ripping the Band-Aid right off, which is fine. Um, and I'll help you rip it off, and I'm going to tell you you people out there that we are not reading 6 kits tonight. It's
No,
stupid.
no.
It's not happening. We decide. I think right after we found out about this, you messaged me and you were like, "We're not reading 6 kits, are we?" It's not happening. There's no
No,
point in doing it.
no.
Uh, I think the consensus was that the way that the new marquee system is going to work is all 6 characters will be in game,
Yeah.
but they will still unlock on an every other week basis. So even though we have all the kits now, we will broach them as they reach unlock because that's what makes the most sense, and that's what kind of sets us apart from everybody else, right?
We are going to put the least amount of effort so that we can maintain 90 minutes. That is like, what do you guys do better than anyone? We stick to 90 minutes.
So okay, so you've because last week we talked about this, and I said, do we just say it's a 90-minute show? And you were like, no, we shouldn't, because then it's a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
But you've basically said, yes, we're gonna
Yeah.
do a 10-minute timer on arena battles.
Yeah.
That's what
That's it.
happened.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
we're
That's it.
okay, and we've been really good at that too. So we're gonna try to stay honest there, and I think we can do it because I think we can do it. I have faith in us.
So you said something, and I was looking at this before the show. You said that the characters are in game, but they're
Yes.
not in game. Are they visible in the game right now?
So from what I understand, I know there was a lot of confusion
Yeah.
today about the update. It seems like this is a back end update and
Okay.
not the full update for Relic Delta and the new 10th anniversary
Okay.
thing. So no, they are not in game yet. Relic Delta is not active. I will nip it in the bud right here. The data mine for Relic Delta is showing the incorrect numbers. I and Scribe and a few other of the people in the beta, we've already confirmed with Meathead that that is an error that will be fixed when the actual update goes live. But right now, everything's just back end and business as usual
Okay.
and the stuff they do every other week.
So just to be clear, though, when I lose GAC later tonight, I'm going to blame Relic Delta. Okay.
Just to be
I want that.
clear,
I want that out.
just to be clear, as funny as that joke is for everyone else, it doesn't hit home when your entire roster is Relegate.
Fair enough. Yeah. Look, I'm going to blame it anyway.
That damn. It did happen a few weeks ago. Somebody got really mad on Reddit and posted. They were like, "This Relic Delta is ruining the game. I just lost my GAC," and everyone was like, you know, it's not active yet, right?" And that's kind of the course
Yes.
of the community right now.
Yeah, yeah. Look, those are minor details. Like, just don't 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 ruin. This is the John Belushi. Let don't slow him down. He's on a roll.
I would agree with you. Now, before we get into any of the big stuff tonight, something very interesting happened today. We did get a data mine. I know that we don't normally talk about data mines,
Yeah.
but we are getting a Clone Wars Chewie Relic 9 $5 bundle that is supposed to release on, I think, the 16th for the web store, and I believe
Okay.
it comes to the game a few days later. I'm stoked, honestly. I love those bundles.
So one, I think the bundles are great, and yeah, it's Relic 9, so I need them as well. Here's the thing that the Jedi won't tell you. Clone Wars Chewie on a Tarful team is actually a really great character. You'll get a lot of
Okay.
use out of him, and we'll talk about that tonight, probably a little bit. So,
I'm excited
um,
for that too because I have an R8 Tarful
yeah,
for Rise of the Empire. So I am super pumped for this upcoming Wookiee team that we, I guess, gave away in the intro, right? But we'll talk about a little bit later. We are also getting from this data mine a 7-day calendar that is going to give everybody a free Relic 9 to Relic 10 upgrade. So that
yeah,
is exciting.
I love that. I love that they're doing that. Again, like any good dealer, you give the first hit as free.
Of course.
I'm interested to see what the packs are, and to put it in perspective, if I remember this correctly, The 7 to 8 was $100.
Hmm.
The 8 to 9 was 150.
Correct.
If the trend keeps, 9 to 10 for $200, man, that is insane.
So it's tough because it's almost like an apples to spiders comparison, right?
Yeah.
Because apples and oranges are fruit, so they can be compared. Just that's how comparisons
It,
work. Um,
spiders taste good and apples taste like garbage.
Maybe, especially like Red Delicious, which are terrible. But
Yeah.
back when Relic 9 came to the game about 4 years ago, the pricing structure of the game was significantly
Yeah.
different.
Fair point.
So
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be that egregious. If I were to take a guess, based on how they have been doing packs with Relic 9 recently, I would expect that a Relic 8 to Relic 9 upgrade using fully purchased materials to be somewhere around $50 to $75. That would be my guess. Just because
Uh,
it's changed so much.
I'll be interested to see how it shakes out. And look, there's so much of and people are asking, what should I do about X? What should I do about Y? And I think there's a lot of we just don't know a lot of these things, and uh, we have no idea what Relic 10 is going to look like,
Yeah.
but short of speed going on them, I'm probably not going to engage much with Relic 10
I don't think
up
you're going to
front.
really need to.
Yeah,
Especially as being the tip of the spear end game, the majority of your is all of your roster R8 at this point?
it is. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So you will never exist within an ecosphere where you are playing with anything more than a relic delta of 2. And
yep,
that's
yeah,
pretty minimal, right? So you're not going to really need to stress 10 unless you're saying, you know what, I'm really busy. I want to win GAC, but I don't want to play GAC as much because I have a lot going on.
yeah.
So I want to set a really hard defense. That's the only value that it brings to your particular roster. But my
Yeah.
question is, what are you going to spend your free Relic 10 on?
Oh, that's a great question. I know conventional wisdom right now is Ezra, just because
I've
it,
heard a
it
lot of
just
people say that.
makes it harder to snipe him out,
Yeah.
by a layout. Um, I haven't really thought much about it. I think a big piece is going to be what are the stats on
Okay.
on there, and and by no means whatsoever am I going to suggest like I would do Zuckus, but as an example, I set so I got Zuckus to R9 for the last
Okay.
week. I set a team that was Zuckus, Forlom, Omnizam, Pad, and Aura with high speed.
Okay.
And one of the players got there and it gave them a hard time, and they messaged me, and I asked them what they thought about it and said, that is another Fin Zori team. So
Yeah.
like so the reason why I say that is like there are going to be certain stats that are going to kind of maybe throw everything off.
Hmm.
If they put Meathead actually said, like, if we put 100 speed on R10, what happens? Like, do I think they're going to do that? No, but the stats may influence what that looks like.
My thought process is with Relic Delta, because I understand that they recognize that there really isn't much they can do to make a specific relic level super impactful, right?
Yep.
And so they're hoping that Relic Delta is the thing that makes it more impactful.
Yeah.
I do think, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I've heard Ezra being touted as like the one that everyone's going to kind of do. I've heard Jedi Master Luke, because I'm sure you're going to get base stats too. And I've also heard that
Yeah.
Jedi Master Luke is completely nerfed. But then again, I don't really think people think those things through. Mine's going to be Jar Jar. I've already decided it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I haven't decided if I'm doing full R10 Gungans, but I think I'm at that point of the game where I don't really care if every one of my upgrades is impactful or smart. I just
Yeah.
want to have fun playing the game that I invest 5 hours a day in,
Yeah.
right?
Uh, one that's funny, and I probably will look at it from that perspective. Um, Man, I feel like because I was going to say something serious, but I now feel like I need to find something along the Jar Jar side. The where my head might right now might be around Relic 10 is if Relic Delta is really about doing more damage
Mhm.
and preventing more damage. To me, this feels like attackers at higher relic levels matter because a heavy damage dealer picking up that gap between 5, 10, and then
Mhm.
20%. You know, Ben Solo with an extra 20% damage is a monster. And if he can live longer to maybe get that AE off one more time might be a little bit more impactful. But
Yeah.
uh we'll see. I mean, I'd love to tell you I'm gonna hold on to it to figure out what's gonna be good. No.
Y
I'll hit him. It'll probably be Jabba because Jabba's in the top left of
right.
the roster. You know.
Monkey brain, right? You just
Yeah,
see number, press the button. Yeah,
yeah,
I get that.
yeah.
I do agree with you. Probably attackers. I think that a lot of people who are worried about Relic Delta, and I'm pretty sure I said this in an earlier episode, but with it looming, I do think it makes sense to repeat. I think that a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to protecting themselves from Relic Delta, in a lot of cases, you don't necessarily need to upgrade an entire team. You just need to upgrade the key characters of that team, right? The majority of testing, not all testing, but the majority of testing was done with equal Relic Delta across teams.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, the findings were kind of like, hey, you're going to lose at Relic Delta 3, but it's still kind of close. So does it become, if I take that one key character up 2 levels, does that change the game for me, right? I don't
Yeah.
necessarily always have to bring all of them up. And I tend to be reactive in those ways. So as an example, my Treya team in the last GAC lost to Quadme for the first time ever. It's never happened before. Fully Relic 5 team. So what did I do right after? I cried about it. I complained on Discord just a little bit. I
Yeah.
messaged all of my friends who care about my GAC, and then I took Treya up a relic level because I won't let that happen again, right? I'm
Yeah.
reactive.
Look, I would love to tell you that plans make all the sense in the world, but reactive is just more fun. All right.
It
It
is.
is just like, why did I do that? Because I just did. Like the other day I ran across I have a Relic 9 Dengar because oh yeah, when they Dengar ship came out, I just reacted like, well, that's I need that for the meta. That was dumb.
But yeah,
And
but
by the way,
is what
yeah,
it is.
a Relic Relic 9 Dengar doesn't do anything that a Relic 5 one could, you know.
But maybe a relic 10 Dengar. Maybe. Maybe that punishing one will work too. You never know.
Hang on, I'm going to quickly Google sunk cost fallacy. That seems to be something that's coming into
That's
play here.
important.
Yes.
I think just a little bit. I do think though with reactive, there's the negative portion of it of like monkey brain sees, monkey brain does, but then there's also the okay, I made the mistake once, I'm not going to make the mistake again, right? Like I'm reacting to how, and that's how you have to play this game. I'm reacting to how my roster is doing. My roster is doing
Yeah.
poorly here, upgrade it there.
Yeah.
That's how you have to play.
And and look, there's also I think we don't know what the availability of Relic 10 is going to look like.
Correct.
And we'll talk a little bit about Coliseum, but we also know that you're going to be able to get Relic 10 material from the scavenger, but we don't know
Yes.
what the conversion rates for that's going to look like. So is it something that Relic 10 is going to be, you know, I'll say somewhere between, how hard it is to get Relic 9 and we'll say Relic 7 because I think that Relic 7 is relatively simple to do. Like, again,
Yes.
understand
Especially
relative
after the
is
update.
yeah, relative is the important term if you're doing well on the raid. But uh, if Relic 10 is easier than 9, yeah, I think you'll probably see people maybe start building full teams as opposed to let me find the right one of 5 to make that happen.
Yes. I do want to say though, as I use my Control F key to stave off any comments tomorrow. When it comes to Relic 10 and how we acquire it, the signal data will be in the scavenger. The other material, as far as I am aware, is going to be in era shipments and
Okay.
have to do with era stuff. Now, they may change that. I could be wrong, and I just did some quick math, but that is my understanding. Relic 10 materials for veteran players, allow them. Uh, no, it's not there. Just here it says era shipments, and we don't know what era shipments are yet. That's a whole new shipment tab with new currencies and new things for us to manage. But you are completely correct. We don't know what to expect when it comes to how many you can look to acquire within, like, let's say a month, right? As a free to play player or a minimum level spender, maybe it's one a month is what you could reasonably achieve. As a whale or a kraken, maybe it's a maximum of 5 that we don't have that information yet. So you're smart, I guess, to be more mathematical and thinking about that. I am gonna do my Gungans because that's just what I do.
Well, and look, I think the bigger piece for me is, and this will probably be surprising. I don't think that I'm going to interact with 10 much at all.
Yeah,
And the comment in the post said Relic 10 is there for players that want to play at the highest levels of PvP.
yeah,
And while I enjoy GAC, I don't enjoy TW for reasons. But
hmm,
while I enjoy GAC, you know, I've we may have talked about this before, but if the goal is to go 50%, all right, but
hmm,
there's 9 battles in a month, it's you're successful if you win the middle battle.
yeah,
All right. So you go 4-4, and if you win that middle battle for me represents just over $6 in crystals.
yeah, yeah,
So it's not for me. It's not a stress around that. So if I have to concede time for GAC, uh, I'll throw $5 to make that problem go away. So I now what will change is, in 4 months when they start talking about the next raid, and they're like, oh, by the way, we're adding a new tier to the raid. Yeah, man, I'm all in. Like at
yeah,
that
yeah.
point, it's jump in with both feet and make that happen. So
I think that that's something that a lot of players don't really think about is it's not the sunk cost fallacy, but it is like the time crystal conversion of how much
yeah,
time you're spending doing something versus what you're actually benefiting from it. And I exist in an area where I kind of hit K2, K1, and a lot of people that look to me for advice are like, "Well, why aren't you a gauntlet player?" And it's, well, I already spend a lot of time playing this game, and that takes
yeah,
away even more time. I don't want to scout. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Like, those things don't make sense to me. As long as I hit my 50%, I've got the crystals I need. I'm happy. Do I want to win more? Would I love to be the top player? Yes, but there's only so many hours in the day, right? So I'll leave that to Sexy Vexy and to
yeah,
Tassanex and to all those guys to battle in the mud pits that are ancient Greece in the gauntlet over there.
yeah, yeah. And look, more power to the people that yeah. It's one of those. It's funny. I listen to Gambit quite a bit, and they call Hell Week the first week of conquest
Hmm.
and territory battles. What's funny is, like, I don't consider that to be Hell Week. For me, Hell Week is territory battles in GAC, because one, I find GAC to be somewhat of a chore, and two, finding 90 minutes or 60 minutes to 90 minutes to sit down and play, that's really hard for me. Like,
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
not done by 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, it's not getting done. Like, I don't, the day doesn't afford me 5 minutes to do this here, 5 minutes to do
Yeah.
that there from that.
That's interesting. I've never heard somebody bring it up that way. I can understand it. For me, it's literally the exact opposite, right? With GEC, it's okay. When I go on a pee break at work, I'll do a
Yeah.
battle if I have to. If I'm in my office at the dojo and I've run out of things to do and someone else is teaching a class, I'll do a battle or two. Like, it's fine. I'll do it throughout the day. With Conquest, for some reason, my brain says this has to be completely done right away. So I wake
Yeah.
up at 5:45 in the morning and I roll over, and I've said this on a podcast before. I will set up a pillow barrier between my wife and I, so she can't see the glow of my phone.
Yeah.
And I will first check Discord, and I have to squint with my left eye because my left eye is really bad, and I'm just waking up, so I can only read with my right eye. I'll check Discord, and then I'll go in game, and I have to do all 3 refreshes of my conquest before I get out of bed. It just my brain says, no, you have to do this. This has to be done. This can't be done at 8. This can't be done at 10. This can't be done on lunch. This has to be done now. It is what it is.
Yeah. Uh, and again, I think that's one of the reasons why this game has lasted 10 years is it does offer a little bit of it offers a different experience for every different for different types of players from that side. And except if you're a TW player, the game is offering you nothing right now.
And
I mean,
and let's
it's
see what
absolutely
happens right after this update. Does that completely devalue TW with droid brains coming to the scavenger, with there being more relic materials from the raid and from the era shipments coming out? Does that mean all of these guilds who are like mid-level guilds who are now starting to sandbag, are they gonna be like, I don't even care anymore? Like I have
sure.
plenty?
Yeah. I think if you look at winners and losers of the legacy game mode, and part of this, folks, we're assuming that you've read the post. It's been a week,
I haven't.
so I don't think we're going to go through it throughout. That's on brand for us. I mean, we're just talking about
Yeah.
it. We don't
Yeah.
know anything about it. If you look at the legacy game modes, which are GAC territory battles, the raid, and Rise of the Empire, or territory battle, territory wars. Sorry. If you look at who won, I think in particular with Rise of the Empire, I think there's significantly more value there. In particular, the Zepho
Yeah.
and Mandalore planets, because they give Kairos, and Kairos are what turn into high end relic material. Territory Wars got worse because I so in ODB we view it as we typically on average, or we plan on one and three for a
Okay.
month. Like we're
Yeah.
so that results in eight droid brains by going 1 and 3 in a month. With the 2 territory battles, I believe we get 9 droid brains in territory battles just from those planets.
I would have to
And
look
if
at
you
the math of those, but I'll believe you. Yeah.
yeah, it's somewhere it's either like 7 or 9, but it's either side of that 8. And for us, those 2 planets are on auto.
Yeah.
It's you're done. The effort that goes into it is so much smaller
Then
now.
TW.
Yeah. So I they're gonna have to figure something out for guild PvP.
There has to be. And you remember those brackets haven't been updated in since the last time they upgraded
Yeah.
TW. To the point that they're going to have to update those up brackets. I know my guild is very similar to yours in TW. We are at the stage, just like you are, where a lot of guilds are starting to do the whole sandbagging thing more actively. We have chosen not to do it. Our last TW was against a huge TW guild, and I'm not even the TW officer. I sent out a guild message and said, "Hey guys, fuck it, just
Yeah.
place meme team, have fun today, right?" And we placed some great teams. We placed like Greedo and the Four Hans. We
Yeah.
placed a technically correct Star Killer team, right? With like Ezra, Star Killer, Bane, right? So we met the conditions, but it was the
Yeah.
stupidest team in the world. We just had fun placing teams, and it was a
Yeah.
great team building exercise on Discord when we were all like laughing and giggling and being silly with each other. And that's what the game is supposed to be sometimes, right? So we'll see what happens, but I kind of enjoy doing that every once in a while.
Yeah. Timing is everything. We're in a weird place in ODB that we if I sit, there's a couple of us that are in the same kind of GP range that I am, but the 2 to 3 million more GP that I would have compared to like the high GP player in some of these other places that we play against.
Hmm.
When I sit, or one of the other couple players up there sit, we are accused of sandbagging,
Hmm.
because that does drag down the average so much. But we also have a much higher win rate when that happens.
Yeah.
I missed two events when we were in Las Vegas. We won back to back, and who knows how long. And one of them was not a dip.
Yeah.
So the matchmaking there is just terrible
It's
right
tough.
now.
It is tough, and I understand the sandbagging thing now because there are a lot more guilds doing it. But I also don't think that a lot of people understand that it's not. It is being done more intentionally now. I know that for a fact, but there are a lot of guilds that just don't give a shit about TW. My guild will send out messages. Hey,
Yeah,
don't forget to join TW. Hey, don't forget to join TW. Only 39 are going to join. I'm not I'm not booting people over a game mode that we don't give a shit about. Right? I'm not
yeah,
demanding people join a game mode when nobody in the guild wants to play it anyway. Like that's
yep,
dumb, you know? You don't get rid of a good member when the thing that they are deficient in is the thing that nobody wants to play anyway. So it is
yeah,
happening, but it's not every guild. Look at their .gg, see what their win rate is before you
yeah.
calling them sandbaggers. And if they are, be mad at CG. Don't be mad at the guild for
Exactly.
playing the system the way the system is meant to be played. That's how the system is.
What I just want is, are we going to find ourselves in 2 months in a situation where people are just joining and they're treating it like GAC? Look, everybody got your 50 points in. Great. We'll see it. We'll see it in 3 days.
That that might be the case when those rewards are devalued. Because
Yeah.
I love those days where I know it's a cupcake war or it's a we can't win war because it's a day off for me. It's a day
Yeah.
where I don't have to recruit, I don't have to like tag people, I don't have to be in and out. It's just I don't have to look at my phone. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. Now we could beat around the bush all day. We have a we have a lot, and we apparently have a 90-minute time limit we have to hit. Right? We have three major things, technically two major things to go over today. The first is the anniversary post that came out last week, and we agreed. And obviously, people aren't privy to our conversations. We are not reading this post. It is a 30-minute read. We are not
Yep.
even going over the whole post. We
No.
have I did it. I have a whole video. I have a 50-minute video. Bit Dynasty has a 30-minute video. Vexitron has a 20-minute video. Nooch has another 45. Like everybody's done a video on that. We have isolated three major points that we want to talk about. We are only talking about those three major points, right? Okay. So we have the anniversary coming up. The first thing that we want to talk about here is the restructuring of eras to be self-centered, self-contained, not self-centered, and the new Coliseum game mode. What are your thoughts?
Uh, Cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I am concerned about going back to payout times and competing on a daily basis with other people.
Okay.
Um,
Before you
but
continue the thought, I do want to let you know that we did ask CG Blender and Meathead. And as far as we understand, Coliseum is not going to be a payout times thing. It is going to be an across the whole day at the day reset, like the server reset time. So you will
okay,
have the full 24 hours to do whatever your highest score is.
so here's the two things that still concern me about that. Is it
Okay.
like the raid that there is a high score?
Hmm.
Okay, so the best I can do in Coliseum is 3.6 million on a day, and if that's the case, does if everyone gets 3.6, does everyone tie for first place?
So I mean, there may be some ties. From what I understand, I don't even know I'm supposed to say this. I think I'm allowed
Yep.
to. I'm pretty sure I am. If you don't see me tomorrow, I wasn't allowed to say this. From what I understand, there are multiple tiers of Coliseum, and the highest tier has an unlimited score potential.
Okay.
And so presumably you should there shouldn't be as many ties as like a boss that has a max HP,
Yeah.
or something like that. Again, that's to my understanding. And if I'm banned tomorrow, then you know why. But I'm like 93.2% sure that I was allowed to say that. And no, I haven't tested this
So,
at all. This is all just from conversations. The
yep.
beta has not seen this at all.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The way that this will work is we are given the era characters
Hmm.
at fixed values. So you're not bringing mods onto those characters. So if I've got 1,020 28 speed mods, I'm not in a better advantage position than you are. And
Right.
the other characters that come along with that are fixed characters as well. So you and I are bringing the same team into a fight.
So, from what I understand from reading the post, is that you level your characters from 1 to 95
Okay.
based on a era currency.
Okay.
And on the screen, I know you can't see it on the screen, but if anyone's actually watching the video, on the screen I have that kind of set up. Each character has their era level, and with each level, they gain stats or like skill boosts. From what I understand it, there is a different max level per star level. So I
Okay.
think the marquee structure is going to remain the same. So
Okay.
I might bring the character to 5 by the end of the week. You might max them out to 7, which means you could feasibly get your character to be stronger than mine and do more damage. So there is still a pay to win aspect to this. We don't know how much, how bad.
I would argue there's a higher pay to win aspect of this because in theory, a 7-star character should do more damage than a 6-star character, right?
And you can get a higher
Uh,
max level in terms of
so,
the
so
error level.
yeah,
Yes.
so I can get a higher max level, and if I'm going to, so we'll flight of 8 because that's what they seem to like to do. We'll say that they do a flight of 8, and I've got one player who's willing to buy the character at 7 stars the second that it comes out,
Hmm.
maximize it, and they do everything that they can to maximize era level. So there's probably going to be a battle pass and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah.
I am traditional marquee 7-star marquee player that I'm going to do it over 7 days,
Yeah.
and everyone else is the 5-star marquee style player.
Yes.
That should mean every day the guy who's willing to do it on day one is going to be first. The guy that's willing to do it on day seven is going to be second, and everyone else is going to be fighting for those other spots.
And that's very, very, very much possible. And how much it matters, like what the differential in rewards is, we don't know. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's going to be worth it for those people to spend that money. I happen to know quite a few people who are like, they're edging right now, like waiting to spend that money to be able to do that. I think the one concern I have is similar to yours. We don't know how big these shards are. The shards
Yeah.
are going to shift per era, and
Yep.
you know, the bigger the shard is, the more normalized it is. The smaller the shard is, the
Yeah.
more luck based it's going to be. If it's a very small shard, I might get lucky and it's all free to play players. Great.
Yeah.
But it might also be a shard that has 30 whales, and now you've just spent $500 and you're not hitting the top score
Yeah.
because there's 400 whales ahead of you. We won't know that until next week. But we do know it's a daily play thing, and we do know that apparently each match should take about like a minute to 2 minutes. It should be very quick.
But you can also do it unlimited times, correct?
I believe it is, from looking at this, you can do it 5 times a day. I do not
5 times a day.
know. I do not know what that
Okay.
means. And what I mean by that is, you know how like in the raid you have 5 attempts and you can submit or not submit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that kind of system is here or it's just, hey, hard limit 5.
And the reason why I asked that, and again, I, I am cautiously optimistic about this. I'm just asking a lot of questions because I just don't know what it looks like. But
Yes.
if we'll say it's a small flight. It's 8 players, and everybody gets it to 7 stars on the exact same day. The player that's willing to sit there for 6 hours and fight RNG
Yeah.
is going to be incented, or is going to be rewarded. I guess is where some of that comes down. Um,
If you're allowed to like not submit your score or airplane mode or like back out, then yes, you would be able to do something like that. It's unclear right now if that is allowed, if that's
yeah,
a thing. I'm assuming it is because that's how it works in Raid. That's how it works in most things. But then at the same time, in Rise of the Empire, you get one shot, you're done. Right? It's like 8
yeah,
Mile.
yeah. Yeah, I want to see how it works. My fear is if it does go a little bit too much, that it becomes skewed to money and time. And,
Yeah.
and look, I've always felt that this game is built around you spend money to reduce time. But if
Yes.
now it's spend money and then spend time, that's bad math as far as I'm concerned, and that drives people away.
That's one of my biggest concerns is it's not even the money portion, it is the time portion overall. I know we are getting rid of galactic challenges, but now they're supposed to be era challenges, and era challenges are a week-long thing, so maybe they'll take less time. But now you have this Coliseum mode that you're supposed to do every day. I My time is at a premium,
Yeah,
right? And I'm sure your time is at a premium, and within my community a lot of the people are in their 30s to 50s, they have kids, they have jobs. Every extra minute that I spend in the game is a premium minute. So I and that is my biggest concern is this an extra 15 minutes on top of each of my days, and you really haven't reduced my daily time much at all, right? Galactic challenges, great, yeah, they're gone, but they significantly devalued those with the community update to the point where I was barely doing them anyway,
yeah,
right? Like I didn't
yeah,
need them to max, and overmaxing wasn't really that advantageous. So it was okay. I'm going to throw one battle at it, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, fine. I don't care. Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm concerned about that.
And what does the game look like again if everybody effectively has the same teams and stars start to become, or levels start to become really the only differentiator? But are we really going to be in a model where, look, we're just waiting for the same 4 or 5 content creators to provide us the video
Yeah.
on how to maximize the score? And that doesn't seem fun.
And those
um
content creators are going to get so many subs and so many bitches. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's not going to be me. Don't look to me for those guides. It's not going to
yeah,
happen. I don't have the time to circle jerk all day on my PC playing this over and over again. And no shade to any of those guys. A lot of them I know work from home, and I love that for them, and more power to them. And I am so fucking jealous of that. But it's not going to be me.
yeah, yeah. But look, it's a new game mode. If it's quick, fun, and equitable, man, bring it all day, every day.
If it's
Uh,
fun, right? If it's fun,
yeah,
hopefully it is. My assumption is, and you brought up like the borrowed units. My thought is, let's say this era, right? We have 6 new marquees and 1 journey character. Um, my hope is that they give you, I don't know, let's say like 8 borrowed units per character because they're all on different teams. Just so there is like a little bit of theory crafting of what character is best to bring in there. Instead of here's 4 characters that work, do it, figure it out.
and we'll talk about this a little bit later. But like the characters they released, they were very prescriptive. Like, these are the 4 characters you should buckle with them.
Yes.
Yeah, but maybe give me some other pieces out of the faction so I can play around a little bit. So
Yeah. Do you want to jump right into that? I mean, we can.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So
I think we would love to get more detail on Coliseum, but
we
we
don't really
also have the
have
same 2 or 3 screenshots. Yeah,
it other than like the boss names were the Jotaz, which is a big ugly Rancor looking motherfucker.
yeah,
The Zepho Tomb Guardian, which we've already seen on Zepho anyway. The Dryax, which looks like Sabretooth from X-Men, just mutated even further. And a pirate ATST, which is kind of, I mean, it's got weird red eyes, like it's a Sith ATST.
yeah.
I don't know what any of that means other than they look cool, and we won't know
Uh,
until it comes out.
that was they gave the art department a big budget and said, "You guys need to figure out where this needs to go." They're like, "Great, we can do really cool stuff with like the first one, and then we just put some red eyes on the existing artwork for the ATST
They
and
ran out of
call it a day."
budget there.
Yeah.
Um, so we also found out in that post that we have 6 new marquees coming. The one that we will more specifically talk about today is Stormtrooper Luke, who I am calling Short King Luke,
Short King. Okay.
because I like fun nicknames, like Halloween Leia. It's just how the characters work for me. We're
Yeah.
getting IG90 for the Afra team. We're getting Yoda and Chewie, who I am calling Buddy Cop Chewbacca.
Okay.
It's just, it is what it is. We are getting Dark Disciple Asajj Ventress, Inquisitor Barriss, and Darth Vader Duel's End. So those are our 6 marquee characters. We are also getting Spider Maul as our journey character at the end of that. These will all release with the era that's coming out. And as you alluded to, CG has kind of told us, hey, these are the teams that we see these characters going into. I don't know if you want to go over those teams specifically or just as a general overview, like your thoughts on the characters and how they fit into the meta or whatever.
So I mean we can. So this is like one of the disappointing things. You and I kind of had the plan for the episode tonight is we were going to kind of talk about where we thought they were going to fit in, and we were going to
Yeah.
do a little fun thing of like what Omicron we thought they were going to get or wanted them to get, and then again I appreciate the details around it. Um, you know, for me, the character that I got the most excited about uh, was hearing about IG90 and getting a
Mhm.
tank on Afra. And then it turned out that that's not actually what we're getting, which
Right.
is interesting.
Yes.
Uh,
It is another attacker.
so, is it a? I think it's actually it's a
Is
support.
it a
It's a support
support?
character.
Okay. Okay.
But
I
what
had
it does
heard
is,
maybe incorrectly as attacker.
yeah. But what IG90 will do is uh, when IG90 is present, it forces taunt on the summoned commando droid. So it
Okay.
effectively builds a Geonosian squad where
Okay.
my summoned unit is the tank, and all of IG90's abilities force taunt on that character. So and taunt on basic. So it is a
Okay.
case that if IG90 goes pew pew, taunt goes up for a turn on the other guy. So I'm excited about that because I've always just really loved that team,
Mhm.
and I think it's going to make it a little bit more viable in a couple of game modes.
It was
Um,
such a
you know,
weird glass cannon team, and I do love it too, but it's so situational, right? Like I use it
yeah,
every third GAC, and when I need it and I use it, it's beautiful and I love it and it works so well, but I don't always need it.
and it is absolutely a team that if you have the Omicron and Afra gets to go first, it typically works really well. But if the other team gets a turn, it's pretty much over at that point.
Yeah,
So
you've just
uh,
deleted your entire team. So that is going to be a nice addition there. I am kind of glad that they released this stuff because I think I remember saying to you this morning when you messaged me about the Omicron thing, I said, hey, there's at least one that I would bet my left nut is going to be a certain thing. Um, and I'm glad I didn't say that out loud, which I just did, but we didn't really bet, right? Because I
yeah,
thought for sure that Yoda and Chewie was going to get a territory battles Omicron, and they are not getting a territory battles Omicron. So I'm
uh,
very, very glad that I found this out ahead of time.
I was really hoping for a territory battle Omicron on IG90 that removes bad guys from reviving, like
Yeah.
something to that effect, because that Afro team is forced into so many missions in Rise of the Empire.
Yes.
Um,
On Dathomir,
so
there's that mission. Yep.
yeah, and all the way up through, they are actually required on the Death Stars. No, I'm sorry, on Hoth, I think.
Okay, I'm not. My guild's not as
It,
cool as yours, so I don't know.
yeah, yeah, and it does not do well. It
Yeah.
does not do well
Okay.
there at all.
It's one of those things,
So
right? Like the Geonosis battle, the Geonosis fleet battle, that's still completely unsolved. That you win,
yeah,
like maybe if you're lucky, sometimes, sort of, kind of.
yeah, yeah,
But now,
pretty
now we
much.
have maybe a solution. Who knows?
Yeah. What about you? What got you excited on the list?
So I always like weird things, right? So like when it came to the territory battles, potential territory battles, Omicron with Yoda and Chewie, I'm just excited for that character because it's silly.
Yeah,
It is a character that's silly, it's fun, it's ridiculous. When I first saw the art for it in the post, I was like, this can't be, or in the video, I was like, this can't be true. There's no what this is like a
yeah,
this trailer is correct, but it was made by not the art department. It was made by a third party team just being fun. I'm very
yeah,
excited for that character. I know we were talking earlier about what the implications are for Rise of the Empire for each of these teams. There is on Kashyyyk, there's the Wookiee special mission. I do have a Wookiee special mission team that I am able to use. I have a Relic 8 Tarful. I barely do the Wookiee special mission because it's just a pain in the ass and I have to manual it. So I,
yeah.
I am kind of excited for Yoda and Chewie, just for his silliness factor. Um, Nothing else here honestly resonates with me. They're cool characters. They're not like the pirates where I was like, I don't know who any of these characters are.
Yeah.
Um, None of them resonate with me on their own, but they do exactly what I had said to you a few months ago, where I said, hey, I love lifters for old teams. And I love that they're doing that.
So I do want to take a little bit of a victory lap because
Yeah.
if we go back to the bounty hunter conversation, one of the things
Hmm.
that I talked about there was I kind of got two things right. The first was Zuckuss needed to be a tank because we needed a tank
Yeah.
on the team. And two, I was talking about Boba Fett needing to be part of that Zuckuss team, or Scion should be part of that team in some way, shape, or form because they weren't a really useful character set. And I'm still a little bit confused by this, but they mentioned that one of the teams they're suggesting is Scion, Fennec, uh, Asajj, Dark Disciple, or Hot Topic Asajj, plus Zuckuss and Forlom.
Yeah. And
And I read that as only GAC though, is
okay.
how I read it.
Because
Uh,
the interesting thing to me, and I guess it doesn't really matter, but it seems like they changed Aura Singh and they changed Cad Bane specifically for this
yeah,
team, and now they're like, actually, we have these other ideas for a lot of the team, right? So that was interesting to me, but they were very small upgrades that those characters needed anyway.
and then what's really interesting about that is when her kit was one that I actually tried to read, but the format of it was really hard to get into.
It is a very
It
hard format with the way that like it's um and on the screen, by the way, I know you said GAC. It in here it says Territory Wars. So again,
Yeah,
I'm correcting us. I'm protecting us from checkers because we
no,
know that there's plenty of those.
and this is kind of where I was going is the team in Territory Wars
Hmm.
and their call outs in her kit for Territory Wars, that if it's a team without a tank, they
Yeah.
get a bunch of bonuses, which to me, what I'm reading from that is because Scion of Django is very Territory War heavy with his Omicrons. The idea is in that team, it's Scion, Fennec, Asajj in two
Okay.
without, so it's not Forlom and Zuckuss there. I think it's going to be Forlom and Zuckuss
In GAC.
in GAC, I think
Okay.
is what we're gonna find in
So
that
you're
case.
so kind of
I'm
like Star
guessing.
Killer, where in
Yeah,
GAC versus TW. Okay, interesting.
yeah,
But in terms of the format of the kit reveals, I got CG. I listen. I have been shilling you for the last 3 months. I have been taking so much abuse.
yeah,
I have heard from so many people who want to murder me because for some reason I have an opinion that isn't the same as theirs. And I am bringing all of this background in there because I want you to understand, CG, that I love you very much, but I hate this new format for kit reveals.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate that there is a developer response after
Yeah.
each attack because I get confused. There isn't a formatting break that makes it apparent that it's happening.
Yeah.
Please, please. I love developer thoughts. I love that. I really do. I like getting into your heads. Please just give me the whole kit and then give me developer thoughts because I can't. I just it's too much.
So there were three things that I saw that were different,
Okay.
and I'm not sure I like any of them. The first, please bring back individual posts.
Yes.
That I and I know Meathead kind of made it like someone asked him about it. And it kind of felt like he was making. I think we're trying to do it all at once. I don't think it works. There's too much.
It's too
There,
much.
and part of the reason why there's too much is the lack of art on characters 2 through 7. And my assumption is because those characters aren't done yet.
Yes, but it's like, oh, they're gonna need to be in game, right? So you'll see their
Yeah.
kits.
Yeah. So like when I scan through things, you typically like, oh, here's an image so that I know that I'm going into the next ability on that side where that falls in. The other big piece is the way that I read kits is I typically the first thing that I do is I scan down and I try to figure out what game mode the holocron is tied to.
Hmm.
They don't bold while in X.
I noticed that too.
So and it was like so I couldn't find it, so I ended up having to do a control F. And in Luke's kit, there is a line that says while in trash compactor. And I'm like, all right, unless there is a new game mode called trash compactor, this is not what I'm looking for.
Yes. Yeah. You know, as we're talking, you know how like sometimes you have a problem in your head and you start to talk about it and then you kind of come up with the solution as you're talking
Yeah.
about it. Some people are going to disagree with me. Uh, I think I understand you have to put them all in the game now because they're going into the era. You have to fix the coding so that I can see their art, so that I can spin them in circles and check out their ass, but have the individual abilities hidden. You
Yeah.
can make it so it's 4 or 5, and I can go, oh, there's 5. I wonder if it's 2 special abilities or 3 uniques. Fine, whatever. But make them hidden. Make them so
Yeah.
unknown until the week before they actually release. Because then the kit reveal is more special when you see their art, when you can
Yeah.
see the whole thing. And so that you don't have to dissect 6 at a time. And honestly, I, I think that there needs to be a less of a divide between the company and the content creators who kind of support the game, because obviously us, right? Zeta Protocol, super important, the most important
Yes.
of all of the shows. Uh, it becomes really daunting as a creator to say we're going to cover 6 things right now. Let's go. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, a couple of other minor things, and just for folks to maybe put in the back of their head. And so these teams are also geared for different types of players at different points in the game.
Yes, which I
The
I love personally.
I do. The Luke team is like they say, like it is a team pre Leia, Galactic Legend Leia,
Yeah.
and it'll change when you get um, the they weren't as direct with this, but with the Barris team, they talk about in 5v5, it's Barris 5, 8, 2, and 9, which is half of the Riva team.
Yeah.
And I think that when you look at it, what it really is going to end up being is that's the team that you run before you unlock Riva and Grand Inquisitor. And
Hmm.
then a piece of that breaks off into being a 3v3 team. I think we got a lot of very specific 3v3 teams out of this. Uh, there'll be 5v5s early in your career, and then they become 3v3 teams longer term is where they sit.
Yeah, and I don't have like I know on my Discord there were a lot of people talking about that and how certain characters were useless and it was kind of frustrating me. I understand when one new character comes to the game, like it feels like it sucks if you're not going to use them when you have 7 characters come into the game and it's this fun like anniversary thing, not everything is for you, and that's completely fine, right? Like that's
Yeah.
okay. And to be completely honest, Stormtrooper Luke, Short King Luke's kit doesn't actually like it's not super complex, but it does look like it's going to be a pain in the ass kit and might make for an interesting defensive
Yeah.
team even at a higher end.
Well, we may be moving into a model, especially in PvP, that 3v3 has not dropped the two least important players off of a 5v5 team and place it on the map. It may just be like, no, this is just a 3v3 team. Like that's
Yeah.
the game mode that you use these in from that side. So
Which is
um
interesting when there's changes like that to me. I kind of like that personally.
yeah,
I think that a lot of end game players they have a trouble looking at things outside of their own perspective, outside of their own gameplay, and they don't see things the way that other people might see things. And I do really urge people to kind of see it that way. And instead of saying, "Hey," and I don't know if Short King Luke is going to be great or not for the end game, but instead of saying, "Hey, this guy character sucks," instead of say, "Hey, you know what? I don't have to invest as heavily in him. This is
yeah,
awesome for me. I can
yeah,
obviously in order to get Spider Mall, I need to get them all. But if I'm not getting Spider Mall right away, oh okay, I don't have to invest as heavily in Luke
yeah,
because he's not important to my playstyle.
yep.
And that's great
So
in the same way Forlom and Zuckus are, right?
yeah.
Like a lot of people don't have to invest in them because they don't move the needle in the same way that other teams have moved the needle in the past.
What's surprising to me about the character list is, and I've talked about it here. I've talked about it in pretty much everything that I've ever done. Is how much I love the Ahsoka Darth Vader fight,
Hmm.
and how I have to keep reminding myself that we're getting Darth Vader from the end of that fight in the game.
Yeah.
And I hope he's awesome. And they're calling him a legendary marquee. Is that the term that they're using?
That is the term they're using, and I think that's the same term they used for grandmothers, right? Gray mothers,
Right. Yes.
right? Which is code
Uh,
for more
he has.
Zetas usually.
Well, he's two Omicrons as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's two Omicrons in his kit. Uh, so he should be more powerful, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, Interestingly enough, and I think that there's fracture in his kit is what I saw,
Hmm.
and it may have read like in the strategy piece, like there's fracture in the kit so that you don't have to put Thrawn on the team, but you still get to take advantage of fracture. But
Yes. His special
Tarkin is
two
where
here.
yeah, uh, Tarkin is where they think that is going to land on that team.
Now, the other thing about his kit, and a friend of mine, messaged me right before we started filming, who is a nerd. We all are, right? But I would never have figured this out on myself because I'm not as big a nerd as he is. So, shout out to Fortuna Favors the Bold and C Squared, but he had pointed out in Unique 1 at the start of battle, Darth Vader, duel's end, loses 51% health and is inflicted with burning until the end of battle, right? 51% health. Why does he lose 51% health? Because he's more machine than man, right? So it's kind of interesting. It's like just over the half.
Yeah,
I didn't come up
yeah,
with that myself. I didn't think of that myself.
that's great.
He messaged me. He's like, "Oh my god, you know how much of an OT purist I am. I need to share this."
Yeah,
And I was like, "You're a fucking nerd." And then he sent me this like 800-minute voice note, and I was like, "Dude, like I get it. I'm stealing this, but I will give you credit."
yeah,
So it is
yeah,
cool. I love when they throw in lore stuff like that, even if I don't always pick it up.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Now, the one kit that we were gonna talk about specifically before we go into the last piece of this update, right, is Short King Luke because he is the one who is coming to the game first. I think we are doing more of an overview more than a full read, right? If
yeah,
that's the case. Before we do that, I do want to point out one thing that I happened to notice about him today on my own is I was reading through the kit so that I could understand it a little bit, and I was looking at the art, and he has an ability called Where Could He Be? And in the ability Where Could He Be? It has to do with um, Stormtrooper Luke kind of calling for R2D2 and C3PO and being like, hey, he needs some help. But the art itself looks like Luke is really stressed out and he is pulling out his vape so that he can take a couple puffs before going
Yeah.
back to battle. And I personally love it.
Speaking of, but before we get into Luke, did you read any of the Chewie and Yoda kit?
I read like half of it because it
Did,
was a
did you
lot. It
notice
just came
something?
out a few hours ago. I did not read all of it. Is there anything fun there?
So you didn't notice the fun part of it?
No, the only thing I looked for was please say there's a territory battles Omicron, and there wasn't, and I was very disappointed.
So in all of the ability titles, they have decided that the combination of a hairy Wookiee and a Force user is
I'm looking at it
combining
now.
fur and Force. So now all of the usage of the word Force in the kit is called Furce, Furce.
I love it.
Yeah.
I honestly I love it. The first is my ally.
I, I
I love it.
I'm just picturing Meathead in a meeting, like angrily slamming his fist down on the table, saying, "Guys, you just have to give me this one. All right, just give me this one."
From what I know about Meathead, what actually happened was that there was some other bigger nerd who was saying that while Meathead had his 3 cameras on his hands because he's a hand model and he
Yeah,
was unveiling Magic the Gathering packs. So everyone else in the room was talking about Star Wars, and he's like, "Okay, guys, right now we have a Magic Locus. That's a rare card in this pack. This one breaks for $30," and completely ignoring the what was actually going on.
good. Yeah. So Meathead's the guy on the call that keeps changing the topic of what they're trying to get through. Like, we could have done this in 30 minutes, except you kept changing the topic, and we're now 65 minutes in. So yeah.
That's my headcanon, yeah. Doesn't matter
All
that
right,
yours
fair
is
enough.
different. It's okay. All right, so we have an overview on Stormtrooper Luke, and when we do an overview, it's just this is what to look out for in the kit, right? Like we don't need to read it for you. Your lexicon level is over grade 5. We just here's some interesting tidbits.
Yeah. You want me to step through some of this?
Yeah, sure. I've done a
Okay.
lot of talking tonight.
So yeah, so I think like the biggest thing, and this is the please listen to this piece of what we're saying. The plan for Luke is he is an early game 5v5 team built around Stormtrooper Luke, Stormtrooper Han, Princess Leia, R2, and Old Ben. 100% CG expects that when you get Leia, at minimum R2 breaks off, Old Ben goes off in the other direction, and they probably become a little devalued in a 5v5 environment. Is
Yes.
really kind of when you look at it.
Though I have seen some
Uh,
people suggest Sana in there once you get to that point.
okay.
But Sana is such a poor, forgotten redheaded stepchild that I don't even remember what she does. And we'll see.
I I really wonder if he can't slot into a Leia team as well, maybe. Uh,
So it's interesting. Well, the thing that I saw in his kit that was really interesting to me was in his leadership with how like every time a tank gets hit, they get defense. Um, Thankfully, it's in his leadership because I don't think that you're putting
yeah,
Stormtrooper Luke as the lead on a Leia team.
yeah,
But you can get
yeah.
a lot of defense with him as the lead.
Uh, so it is basic. There is an introduction of a new debuff called Buff Disruption,
Yes.
and it prevents buffs until that character is damaged. So essentially, puts buff immunity on the character. But if you then immediately follow it up with another attack, that buff immunity comes off, but it loses 100% turn meter.
Yeah. So it's like a stagger,
So
a buff immunity stagger.
yeah, it's a combination of buff immunity and stagger, and then the buff goes away from that side. So, uh, and with this team, I mean, you've got Pew Pew Leia on it, so it's going to be, we'll see what that interaction looks like. Uh, you know, basic ability is TK 421, or TK 421, really is probably how we should read it. Short for Stormtrooper, dispels all enemy debuffs, rallies rebel allies, which which is a role based piece. I think that's that's down in his
It's
pit somewhere else.
it's Resistance Hero Finn that actually has a rally. And I only know
Okay.
that because I read the kit right before we filmed and I said, we're both going to forget this. Let me get Resistant Hero Finn's kit up here too. So I was thinking, and Rallied gives characters based on their role tanks, taunt, and critical hit immunity for 2 turns. Attackers assist, and healer and supports restore 15% health and protection to all allies.
Yep. Uh, it also Princess Leia gets to ignore taunt, which is pretty nice. Uh, one of the other things they did put in the notes, both Luke and Han have very high variance of their basic ability, and that's because effectively they're pretty good debuffs. Is the reason
Yeah.
why they did that. And where could he be? Or somebody, where's my vape? Vulnerable on all enemies, which allows a crit if they can crit. Offense up, non-tanks get stealth, so Leia gets stealth, which calls her, it allows her to attack a 3rd time. If I remember that correctly, call everybody to assist, and then we get into the uniques. Speed at the battle plus 30 if Leia and Han are present. Rebel tanks pre-taunt, which is great for Han because you can make them super slow. Reaction taunt when allies stealth. So bonus protection, which if I remember Stormtrooper Han's kit, when he gets hit, he gains turn meter, which then allows him to basically just throw taunt back up. Is that correct?
Let's see. He has his unique Han has a 25% chance to remove 30% turn meter for each enemy at the start of each of his turns. In addition, Han recovers 5% protection and has a 25% chance to remove 10% turn meter from each enemy when
That's
he
what it
is
was.
damaged. Yes.
So I had it the exact opposite. He actually does not speed up. He slows the other team down when he gets hit on that side. So um, the leader gets a little wonky because there's a bunch of things in there. There's some stat boosts, conditional bonuses. So this is 50% health or higher, 100% defense, or 100% defense and expose enemies. Less than 50% health, they get 50% offense. Stealth characters get defense penetration. Dispels stealth and taunt and grants defense up and foresight. Distracted, uh, which of course my summary doesn't actually show what that is.
Can't gain
The
bonus
bigger
turn
piece,
meter.
okay.
Yeah.
The bigger piece, and this is where I think that the longer term, where this team fits in the meta, is that Omicron is 3v3 only, which should only then be a 10
Yes.
mat Omicron, if I remember correctly. Leia ignores protection when she's stealth, which is awesome because she attacks 3 times when she's stealth with basic. Uh, Cooldown reduction when stealth is dispelled. Enemies lose turn meter on crits and gain ability block when distract comes up. And Leia and Han's chance effects become guaranteed. Luke gets evasion. Luke is immortal while any ally has protection, which immortal effectively I think is damage immunity is really what that is.
Let's
But the GPT.
see. Yeah. Yeah, that seems about right. While
Yeah,
active. Yeah, so he can't be defeated while they have protection. The other
yeah,
interesting thing is I noticed that early in the kit there was that 100% chance based thing for one of the special attacks for the call. So Leia and Stormtrooper Han, all of their like percent based things are 100% based things.
yeah,
But now the interesting thing is that it's also in the leadership, which means that Stormtrooper Han's TM steal
yeah,
from being hit also is affected by that now. So he's going to be
so,
burning TM from the enemy team.
yeah. So does this become a team that you're only beating it when it's marked? Like, do you need to find a way to mark Leia,
Yeah.
get Leia out, remove their ability to do damage, and then work on Han?
Or you need something that stops turn meter gain. So like a Padme team,
Yeah,
right? And I'm
yeah,
thinking pre-GL. So a Padme team stops any of that turn meter gain or turn
yeah.
meter loss. But obviously you could throw GL at it and just kind of turn all of that off anyway. But who wants to do that? And are you going to be in a position to do that?
Look, I think we are very quickly moving to a meta that is built around bringing 8 or 9 galactic legends on offense to deal with all of the garbage and bullshit that Omicrons and Datacrons are
Yeah.
putting on these non-meta teams for defense.
I was telling you before that before we started filming that I was kind of rushing through my GAC. I was going through it very fast. I'm not done with it yet, but right now, I have 3 battles left that I need to do. Three, no, two. 2 battles left against ground characters that I need to do, and I have 4 GLs left on offense.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, these are easy wins. And I also am kind of like, do I want to try to not GL them just to see if I can? We have so many GL at this point that I don't even use all of them all the time.
It is a weird situation, and I've got the same problem. It's the can I clear the bottom zone without using a GL because I don't know what's behind there, and then you find out, oh well, there's nothing back here I need a GL for. So
Yeah.
I took Ahsoka against Geos because I could.
My favorite thing to do is to take Jabba against a solo, Jabba solo against a Qui-Gon team. And I just hit auto and watch Jabba take out the entire team just
That's
because I
right.
can, right? Just because
Yeah.
it's a silly thing. I think that the Omicrons are kind of increasing in power to kind of it changes the board up a little bit. I am getting tired of what the board looks like right now, and we basically see the same teams over and over and over again. And so I am excited when this era ends, there's going to be potentially up to 6 more teams that we're going to see because all of these characters go to
Yeah.
different teams. The
Yep.
last thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, if you have no more thoughts on this, that
Nope.
is the
I'm good.
economy change. And this is one that I am very excited for myself. So the economy change to relics right now, and people will get to kind of see our notes too. But the implications, the economy change, MK3 to MK2 shift for electrium conductors and Zimbital crystals cards, MK2 to MK1 shift for CCBs, BWs, CTs, and AHs. Signal data is replacing GC salvage boxes in the free to play era pass. Some people are contentious about that and the MK3 to MK2 change because they feel they need G12 gear, G12 plus
Yep.
gear more. Episode shipments will now include signal data and
Mhm.
era currency shipments, which we have no knowns about, is supposedly supposed to help you with legacy gear. And that might be G12 gear, it might be signal data. We don't know. I personally am super stoked about this. I have data sheets where I have shown how much more Relic 1 to Relic 7 material a person can get over a time period. I see this moving the needle significantly to R7. What are your thoughts here?
So two things. I think one, yes, it will make the people that are struggling with 1 to 5. It'll make it easier for them to 1 to 5. I think that there's a lot of people that feel 5 to 7 is a gap right now, and I think it solves a lot of that problem. You and I had a pretty big disagreement about this last week. I do not like the idea that conquest characters uh, and galactic legends will still need legacy gear
Yeah.
because I don't like the idea that I have to now plan for that when this was originally sold, or how I interpreted how they were selling this as salvage all of your legacy gear if you don't need it any
Hmm.
longer to convert to relics. And uh, it's just a piece of it's a piece of management that's not easy to track in game. Like that
Yes.
I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
that's my frustration is probably where that sits.
So
Uh,
our disagreement, just to catch people up, because you
yeah,
want to air your dirty laundry on air, which is fine. It is
yeah.
what it is. I now I know what kind of lover you are. Um, our disagreement is that essentially you're like, hey, I want to scrap everything because it seems like
Yeah.
eras are going to kind of erase that. And my thought was, I'm always going to keep like 300 to 500 of everything because I'm a dirty little squirrel and I want to hoard things and keep myself safe for the winter. And you believe that we shouldn't have to do that, right? And that makes sense because most of the game is telling us, you don't need this
I,
anymore.
I, I think it's twofold for me. The first is, um, I am currently in a place in the game because of I don't need gear any longer except for new
Hmm.
characters, and the income of legacy gear is at a rate right now that there's nothing I can do with it, so I don't have to worry about it. I can always just upgrade a character when it comes out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Prior to hitting that point, the only way to understand the gear that I need for the stranger is to go to a third party website
Yeah.
and enter, like, it's not something I can track in game.
Yes.
And when and it's one thing to manage that for conquest characters where you have 3 months to earn all of that back, but what happens when the next galactic legend releases into the game and I'm missing something that I didn't, because we don't get a heads up of like
Hmm.
what they need when they come in. So for the and look, I first world problem. I'm going to be a day one unlock around that character, but man, I'm going to be really upset if
If you
Galactic
don't.
Legend Thrawn releases and I can't get them past Relic 11 without spending a couple thousand
You
crystals because I forgot about the stupid round thermal detonators.
yeah,
So that's my frustration with it.
I definitely understand the problem because you're right. Like GLs, we don't get that stuff until maybe a week before
Yep.
they come out, if that, and then you go on GG and you have to like figure it out and like decide. Whereas a conquest character, you have those 3 months. Again, my position is I'm always going to be a little squirrel and I'm always going
Sure.
to hoard things, so I'm not as concerned about that as you are. Um, I understand the concern.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Look,
mitigate this concern before it happens.
and it may be a case. It turns out it's not the problem that I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
My
Uh,
thought process is that when it comes to Relic 1 to Relic 7, at least, is that scrapping goes the way of the dodo, right? Like, I don't think I'm going to need
yeah.
to. I think that with the MK1 and MK2 shifts, that I'm going to be earning from the raid enough relic material where I don't think I'm going to be buying the 500 crystal packs anymore. I think that's going to be going all towards marquees now, right? Because I just see myself getting so much more relic material that I'm not even going to think about the scavenger outside of droid brains and arrow magnifiers.
The my view right now, the three most important things in the game are maximizing your personal and raid boxes in the
Yeah.
raid for that raid material, and ensuring that your guild can do Zepho and Mandalore just because of the Kairos that are coming into the game that do that. So that's where I think the guild should be focusing all their time and energy on. The other piece is, and this is going to be, I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of players. You have to start viewing the world that the new motion moving forward, if your roster still doesn't have character like everybody in Relics, your motion is going to be, I'm working on building characters within the era mode, and I should absolutely be building characters in legacy mode at the same time
Yeah. Hmm.
to just get them off the plate.
The other part of that, and because we don't know what's in the era shipments, right? We don't know if that's going to make up for the G12 gear, and I know that some people are really concerned about that who are more in the mid game. And I had said this to a few people over the last couple of days, is that with the MK2 shift, you may have to slow down some of your G12 to relicking, but while you're doing that and focusing on those things, you're also being given the agency to bring your already relict characters to higher relics to allow them to
Yeah.
do more for your roster. So we need to stop thinking in a very singular way and start thinking about all of the different levels of your roster. So what's in the era, what's in the legacy to gear, what's in the legacy to relic, and being able to find the balance between those three things.
Yeah. If you're not currently getting the max personal box, you need
Do
to
it.
be asking yourself why.
Yeah.
Like
Especially on this
it's
raid.
just it's an easy raid to do. The characters are great from that side, and they're just making it easier for you to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're on the higher end of the game. You know, like I understand you're 4 million, you're not gonna be able to do that, but they
So
have
yeah,
made this raid very easy. And I feel like next June, I'm going to get a slap in the face when they've learned all of their lessons from all of the undermans that they didn't intend to give us, but they decided to be the benevolent ruler that they are, and keep those here for us. I'm going to be crying when my guild is not meeting those boxes again. And I might have to put in my referral or my resume to ODB and see if maybe I can get. My guild is going to kill
so
me for saying that.
so that's a great point. So do you think their willingness to leave the underman squads had anything to do with the fact they knew that Relic 9 was going to just like what you needed to raise these characters up was going to become irrelevant in 2 months
I
or
do. I think
years?
that their entire business sketch strategy has shifted, and they were like, okay, it's not worth getting players mad over this.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
worth having players quit over this because we have this whole new thing coming. And it is going to be heavily monetized, and they are hoping to make a lot more money. And on it, and again,
Yep,
I've said this to you, you've said this to me. I don't give a shit as long as I'm having fun playing the game.
yeah,
It is what
yep,
it is.
yeah.
Now, Pico, you put us on a 90-minute time limit. It is a 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 30 seconds on the dot. We are right about there. I want to finish with a small anecdote on something that I learned over the last couple of days, and people might be sick of hearing me say this. In all of my videos, I've been doing this for about 2 years. I have never once, ever, ever, ever said, hey guys, like, comment, subscribe. Ever. It has never happened. Um, and as of 3 days ago, my highest video had 13,000 views and got me 97 subscribers. Okay, so 2 days ago, as an experiment, I did a 10-minute video. And in the beginning, I said, hey guys, subscribe. And it has only been viewed 3,000 times. So 4 times less than that video. And it has net me 120 subscribers, right? So I've learned that that thing that I've hated for so many years, that like, comment, subscribe mentality, it works because people forget to do it. So I am going to sell my soul here and tell people, whether you're on Spotify, you're on YouTube, or you're on something, please, if you enjoyed this, hit subscribe to it because it makes me feel special. And then when I send numbers to Pico Burrito later, he maybe feels special. I'm not 100% sure, but I have hard evidence that this works. So that is why we're doing it.
So
You have 2 minutes.
what I hear you what I hear you telling me is Rage Against the Machine was wrong.
That you have to go with the machine.
Well, no, it is. They said, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me." But that is the exact
It's
opposite.
exactly what
Hit
they do.
like and subscribe. Oh, yep, there we go.
It's really
I'm a
fuck
rebel
you.
like
I'm a
that now.
cog in the machine.
Yes,
That's it.
exactly.
Fuck you. I'm a cog in the
Exactly.
machine. That's
Yeah,
that's that's
yeah,
that's what it is. Um, but in all seriousness, we did hit our time limit for tonight. We are keeping to this 90 minutes.
yeah.
We are not going to be the timeout team of the Swugga podcast community. So with that said, I am going to say peace out and have a great morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is. And I'm going to leave that last word with you, Pico.
I got nothing, man. Folks, we got changes coming to the game. Let's be kind, let's be polite, and let's understand that change is hard and complex. We don't need to scream into the void.
All right, you heard it here first or last. I don't know. It depends on when you've heard this.